One of the biggest questions I get on my Discord is what does this stat do? What is the cap? How do these things work together? We're going to talk about stats, caps, and what to prioritize. Let's get into it. Alright, guys, this is the stats right here. This picture right here, it goes down a little bit further, is on my Discord under. Uh, I'm looking at it right here, infographics and resources. And you can find it, put it up a little while ago. And these are all the stats in the game's explanations. And on the right, the far right, is the max, the caps of them. This is the new one. Some of them got changed 4 to 5 months ago. Well, let's talk about it. Attack increases damage dealt to enemies. Defense reduce damage taken from enemies. So it should be attack. So let's say you have a skill that does 200% damage and you have 100 attack. It is going to do 200% damage because it's 200% of the 100 damage. Then defense reduces the damage coming in. HP is same thing as in all games, same HP. HP recovery increases healing effects from all sources. That would be if you have a trait that heals you, if you have a skill that heals you, if you have a companion that heals you, from all sources, you will get an additional recovery by the percentage of your HP recovery. Stamina is used for getting skills. Your stamina is 100, and then when you use them, you have to get them back over time, which would be the stamina recovery, which caps out at 200%. So instead of getting it a little bit over time, you can really get it over time because characters like Magic, Iron Man, Captain America, there's some that really chunk out the stamina usage. Ultimate gauge recovery, same thing. If you use a skill that gives you back 10% ultimate gauge, and then you have 200% ultimate gauge recovery, you're going to get 200% on top of that 10%. Because that 10% out of your 100% circle, that 10% is going to get 200 boost. So it's going to be 200% of the 10%. Accuracy and dodge. So if we look at the numbers right here, 175% is the cap for accuracy. 75% is the cap for dodge. So if I have 175 accuracy and you have 75 dodge, I have a 100% chance to hit you. My accuracy minus your dodge is my hit chance. This only gets changed with things like Spider-Man, blind, things like that. Critical rate, chance of scoring a critical hit, 75% is the cap. Crit damage, this is the bonus damage you deal when you hit a critical hit, cap at 300. Critical damage decrease, very similar to attack and defense. Critical damage being the attack, critical damage decrease being the defense. You can reduce it by 200%. So, if you attack me and you crit, and you deal 300% crit damage, I have 200% crit damage decrease, you will do 100% bonus damage on top of your normal hit. If you hit for 100 with 300% crit damage, and I have 200% crit damage decrease, you will then hit for 200. So 100% increase. Defense Pierce ignores a percentage of their defense. 75% is the cap. Max damage rate. The probability damage inflicted on enemy will be a fixed maximum. So what happens here is every time you hit, you can do let's say the max that you can hit is 100. it will be, when you hit, it's anywhere between 75 and 125. A little bit more than your regular hit. Uh, and max damage rate is the chance you will hit the 125 instead of the 75. Cooldown reduces the cooldown for your skills. So if your cooldown is 10 seconds and you have this 50% cooldown, it will be a 5-second cooldown. All of these caps on the right, if you go past them, the number goes red, just like on the thumbnail, and you only get up to the red. Total damage. We're going to get into these percentages here in a second. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. So total damage. Increase the damage dealt to enemies once more. So that's a little bit confusing for some people, and this is one of the questions I get the most. But total damage, PvP damage, guard damage is kind of its own thing. Supervillain damage, air to surface and surface to air. Those two stats are not in the game anymore, but they work the same way. Melee damage, range damage, flame damage, chill damage, and shock damage. All of these are the exact same, and they are percentages on top of your damage. The thing that makes total damage stand out is it is always an effect. So let's take flame. I only do bonus damage if I'm hitting with a flame type skill. So if I hit with a shock type skill with Star-Lord and I have 75% flame 100% flame damage, it's not going to do anything. But if I have total damage, which caps at 100%, that's a 100% increase in my damage. The downside is all these other stats will give you an amount, and total damage is always going to be half of everything else, just because you can use it in all game modes. Status effect accuracy, status effect resistance. This is for things like blind, bleed, rupture, lacerate, defense down, things like that. Your companions also go based off of your stats. So if you have high accuracy, they're more likely to hit with their things as well. PvP damage, PvP decrease. This is what I was talking about. This is a percent bonus damage in PvP, and this works differently than what we just talked about with critical damage and critical damage decrease. So if I have 75% PvP damage and you have 75% PvP damage decrease, then they're just going to cancel out. And then just have the regular bonuses. Guard damage. If you're on the ground, you start with a full guard. If you're in the air, you have 50% guard. And if I hit you with a skill, it's going to do a percentage based off of what class it is. Lowest, low, medium, high, and highest. And then guard damage makes it do percentage more guard damage. And guard damage decrease will reduce it. They have since, in the most recent patch, reduced how guard damage decrease works. Still doing some testing on that. I apologize. That's the one thing that I do need to look more into. But it used to be if you had close 80% or higher guard damage decrease, you would effectively never get guard broken. Now people are getting guard broken. So supervillain damage decrease. So bonus damage you deal to supervillains, and then decreases reduced damage you take from supervillains. 25 and 26 right here, surface to air, air to surface, don't exist anymore. Villain damage and villain damage decrease are the same exact as supervillain damage decrease. Both cap at 75. Range damage decrease, melee damage decrease. These are ones that I also get a bunch of questions on. And what I say is, if you want to know if something is melee or ranged, go to the second to last place, Nostrand, and then you have the one right before it, which is the Demon Bear. Uh, Go kill primes until, oh, minis, whatever, until the prime spawns the Demon Bear. The Demon Bear always has the circle on the ground. It's kind of hard to see. You have to look for the shimmer, depending on how your graphics is on your system. But the circle on the ground, if you are within the circle when you attack him with any skill, it could be the longest range skill in the game. But if you are inside of his circle when you press the skill to hit him with it, it is considered melee. And if you're outside the circle about 4 meters, when you click the skill, it is considered range. And I just think he's a dynamic moving target that has an indicator on the ground of what is ranged and what is melee. One of my favorites in the game. And that's going to be the same way. So if I attack you from ranged and I have range damage increase, then I'm going to do that much more damage. And then if you have range damage decrease, I'm going to do that much less damage. Hero XP increase. Increase the experience gain by the hero. This is mostly for training grounds. When you do your 3 hours and whatever bonus extra in training grounds, this will increase your XP gain. There's a few companions that do this. Some of them are just collection bonuses, and the others have to be on your board. Flame damage decrease, chill damage decrease, shock damage decrease. All three work the exact same way. Bonus damage if you use that type of skill, and then decrease of that type of damage. Currently, the only way to get flame damage decrease, chill damage decrease, and shock damage decrease is from squad rank. I am pushing 340, and I have about 4% of all three. So they don't really give you much. I think I'll have somewhere like 8%, 9%, something like that by the time I get to 500. But there's no real other ways to get that. I believe Loki has chill damage decrease, and Valkyrie might have shock damage decrease, if I remember correctly, but I haven't looked at them in a while. No. Valkyrie has flame damage decrease. That's right, as a collection stat, I believe. But they're very, very hard to get these stats. Whereas the damage, flame damage, chill damage, shock damage, are exclusives for Omega cards on the characters who have it. I'm sorry this was a little bit boring, guys, but I get a mountain of questions on stats and how they work. Let me know if I missed anything, and if you have any more additional questions about these stats. Till next time, guys.